Hey folks, it's Vic Noble here. And first off, a very happy new year to all of you. And I hope you're all ready to take on 2024 with enthusiasm and a positive sense of expectation and inspiration. This podcast is in two parts. This first part here will lay out the foundation for part two, which will be out next week. And that episode will dig much deeper into some very personal and emotional issues that Darko was confronted with in 2023. So this latest episode of Darko's is different in that it actually isn't directly about trading, but rather about Darko's very personal story of how he had to deal with some pretty tragic and devastating events in his life in 2023. And of course, when you have to deal with things like this, it can affect all other areas of your life, including trading. Okay, so it forced him to overcome some dark moments. And it's a great story of how he had to rethink so many things. And through introspection and self-analysis, he was able to move on. And the hope is that, by hearing his story, it can help others who may be experiencing setbacks in their own lives. So we hope you enjoy the podcast, and we'd love to hear in the comments about any takeaways or maybe some similar experiences that you've had and how you've been able to deal with them. I know it's personal stuff, but let's face it, during a lifetime, we all have to deal with these things at some point. And in Darko's case, he has very publicly shared his story, which, is a big part of dealing with it and moving forward. So go ahead and click the link to the podcast, which is in the text below. And and by the way, we'd really appreciate you sharing the podcast with others. And also, if you'd be so kind as to hit the like button, we'd really appreciate that. Okay, and one other thing, you can even rate this podcast on Spotify or whatever you're listening to it on, and we'd very much appreciate that as well. Thank you so much for listening, and once again, a very happy new year to all of you.